Hey everyone, it is Savannah, and welcome back to Signature Way. We are so excited to bring you such an incredible guest today, Jesse Coleman. He is a coach for a KW office in Chicago, but additionally, he runs his own podcast, has been teaching not just inside of the United States, but across the globe. And he recently came to Colorado and taught a business planning clinic. And we're so excited to have him on this podcast and kind of talk about those few things so you can get started rocking and rolling into 2026. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce you to my good friend, Coach Coleman.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me. I'm excited, right, that I get to be a guest on your podcast. Like this is amazing.
It is awesome. And before we get started, can you kind of tell me a little more about like your background and anything else you want to share before we get started?
Yeah, so been in the real estate industry. Actually last month made 18 years that I've been in the real estate industry.
Okay.
I've been coaching and teaching and training for about the past 4 or 5 years. And that's just my passion of just being able to pour into other people, help other people, spread the knowledge that I've received over the years and be able to pour into other people so they can not go through a lot of the mistakes I made and, being able to that learning curve be a lot more easier than as opposed to just trying to learn everything on their own.
Yeah. And I think that's something too, especially when you first get started in the industry, right? There's like a lot of unknowns. Yeah. I feel like some people just jump in ahead first, which is great. Yeah. I think there are some fundamental basics that if you understand, it will elevate your game just in the first year.
Yeah, yeah, because we take so much time to just like you said, everybody want to just jump in head first. There's so much time that you can waste doing that as opposed to like, okay, let me figure out the models and systems. Let me get a mentor, or let me just have somebody that I can ask some questions and get ideas about where you can share, like, hey, this is what worked for me, this what didn't work for me. So now you have a baseline to say, okay, he said this doesn't work, this does work. I can go off of this, and that it saves a lot of time of being able to learn quicker and learn more.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's dive in. Let's talk about
Yeah.
setting 2026 goals. So, talk to me about setting clear goals for 2026, what that looks like, what you recommend someone to do if they're kind of unclear of where to even start.
Well, it's one thing you just said that I'm glad you said that a lot of people they skip over, and it's that setting clear goals. Like you have to be very, very clear on what your goal is, and then you have to have it why grounded into that to that goal.
Hmm.
So again, what's your goal? Is there a financial number? Is there a units number? Is there a contact? Whatever the goal is, you want to be clear about that because you want to be able to look at your computer screen and say, okay, this is my goal. This is my goal. Because once you have a clear vision of that goal, you're not going to let things that won't get you to that goal get in the way of what you're doing.
That makes sense. And I think too, one thing that I see some people do too is like they go, oh, well, this person in my office is going to do X, so I want to do X. And I feel like that can create a disconnect to the actual goal and what they actually are needing or wanting from a goal. So, can you kind of touch on that of why it's important to understand your why and your goal, not just to be compared to somebody else?
Yeah. So a big part, one thing that I always like to talk about is your lane is your lane, your timing is your timing. The
Mm,
more time you get distracted on what the next person is doing and what they're doing in their lane, you're not going to be able to progress the way you want to. So, a perfect example I like to tell people like, look at people that run track. When they're running track, they're focusing on the goal is is the finish line. They're not looking at the person behind them. They may glance at the person aside them just to see where they are in relation to that person, and they're like, "Oh crap, he's pulling it up on me. I got to hit another gear." So it's just focusing on your time, and like you said, a lot of times we don't know what people are dealing with. Some people may have to grind hard, and they have to sell that amount of homes because they have a higher overhead, or they're going through personal situations where they really need to, make some type of adjustments in their business to be able to get through that. So again, we can't judge what other people are doing to what we're doing. We have to have our goal, and then we have to have our why. What is the reason why I want to hit this goal? Is it because I need to get out of debt? Is it because I want to take my kids on vacation? Is it because I want to get a new car? Like, we have to tie our why into our goal, and that's the only thing we need to focus on, not what anybody else is doing.
Yeah. And question for you, totally out of the
Yeah.
blue on this, but is your why to the goal the same as your purpose? Or do you think that your why kind of changes year over year with the new set of goals?
So there's two ways I can answer that, and I'll actually answer them both ways. So your why and your why should be something that could help get you to your purpose, sort of say.
Okay.
Now, and also your why could be totally different because let's just say for some people, and we talked about business planning, for next year, their why could be to get out of bad debt.
Mm-hmm.
Some people may have good debt, which they got investment properties, or some people may have bad debt, which is student loans, credit card bills, car payments. They can't get to their purpose if they have these bad debts sitting over them. So their goal for the first year is I am going to get out of debt. Once I get out of debt, now I can be on track to fulfill my purpose.
But yeah, love that. And I think that's just something too, because I can see that line sometimes getting blurred a little bit.
Yeah,
So thank you for explaining that.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So when it comes to lead gen kind of focus thing, and I like to just call it connections versus lead gen, because I feel like
Yeah.
lead gen is this big scary word that everyone's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to lead gen, versus it's really just about connecting with people. What are some ways that you've seen being a coach that people have had success around having a commitment to their connection or lead gen time?
Yeah. Well, that is the first thing, and you're spot on, is reframing the way they're thinking about what they're doing. Because again, Legion has this stigma to it, and it's also about the personality of the person I'm talking to. Where
Mm,
if it's somebody that I'm coaching where I know their personality type, we can say the word lead gen because it's not going to do anything to them. But there are some people where just the term lead generation is like, oh my God. It's like it just creates this thing where they don't want to do it. So it's
hmm
again, like you said, okay, first part is creating connections. Hey, this is my connection time. I know I had somebody that I was coaching, and uh, we called hers boss Barbie time. Where it's like, hey, this is my time that I'm put in place to be a boss. Like this is like you just reframe what you want to call it. It could be money making hour. It can be, vacation hour. Like whatever you need to do to reframe it. That's the first step. The second part is we're in uh we're in the part of our industry where some people are gonna hate. I'm gonna say this. If you don't like something, you do not have to do it.
mm,
If your lead generation or your connection, if it's not calling expires or for sale by owners or doing open houses, then don't do it. Because what's going to happen is you're going to resent it so much. So if you do it, you're not going to do it consistently. If you do it, you're not going to do it with the energy where if I call you, Savannah, and we can feel energies. If my energy is not
hmm
right because I don't want to do this and I'm calling you to ask you, can I list your home or meet you about selling it? You're not going to vibe with me because my energy is off. So again, if you don't want to do something, don't do it. And you have to find something that you do want to do, and you have to be committed to doing it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
People that love doing open houses, they do probably 2 to 3 open houses a week because they love to do it. People that like to do events, they do events, they host events, or they go to events multiple times a week. You just have to figure out what you love, and you have to be committed to doing that on a consistent basis.
I think that's the biggest part too, is that yeah, you don't have to do it all. And something that I've talked about in some trainings too is just explaining to people like if sitting on the phone for 3 hours is not what you want to be doing, like go to a local coffee shop, get to know the locals. Just, and you could disagree with me on this. I just feel that when you kind of put yourself out there and you just naturally have conversations and you're being purposeful about connecting with people, it kind of comes back to you. It's funny because I like look at where like some deals come for like the teams or agents is like, and they're like, oh no, I haven't talked to this person in forever, but because they were doing the right activities,
Yeah.
it's like the universe kind of rewarded them.
Yeah. It is so funny that you say that because I released the actually I just released the episode around that actual thing, and it's pretty much saying that resistance is going to come. The universe is going to reward you for the things you say you want to do. Now, if you say you want to make a certain amount of money or you want to do a certain amount of business, the universe is going to say, okay, well, show me you want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you, like you said, going to a coffee shop and everybody that walk past, you just introduce yourself? Like, are you doing the activities, the things that you need to do to build the business? If so, you will be rewarded for that. You just have to show up.
Yeah. And can you kind of talk about like the mindset that kind of accompanies that? Like, how does that, what is a mindset that you should be having around that? And what do you do when it's a rough day?
Yeah. So the first part of that I would say is falling in love with the process and not the actual results. The
Mm,
more you fall in love with the process of if it's a contact goal for a day, I don't care what if I get an appointment, if not, I just need to hit my contact goal for the day. If that is it, that's the thing. And guess what? You hit that contact goal for the day, your mood is totally different when you log off, slam your laptop shut, or whatever the case may be, because you did what you were supposed to do. So
yep.
again, it's setting at expectation of the results are going to come. It's what we call in our world the lead and the lag indicators. The lead indicators are the activities, the actions that we take to get the lag, which is appointments, closings, things like that. Focusing on the lead indicators. What can I personally control? That's my focus. I can't personally control if somebody say, "Hey, yes, come and talk to me about listing my house." But what I can control is me having a conversation with every single person to give me the opportunity to do that. So that's the first part, is falling in love with the process and not the results. The second part of that is us going back to our goals and our big why. You having a bad day, everybody's going to have a bad day. Do not beat yourself up if you have a bad day. You say, you know what? I'm finna shut it down today. I'm finna go home or I'm finna do something just to take my mind off of it. But tomorrow morning, I'm right back at it. That is totally fine. But again, we need to remember why we're doing what we're doing. Okay, this is my purpose. This is my goal. This is the mission. Somebody just cursed me out. It doesn't matter that they cursed me out, because guess what? I have to hit this goal that I have set forth for myself, and nothing is going to stop me from hitting that goal.
I like that. Yeah. So when it comes to the bad days, real quick, and this is just something I think I came to realization a year ago, and you obviously knew this
Yeah.
from previous conversations we've had. It's just like when you're having those bad days, I think society pushes a little bit of this hustle culture, and we're afraid by taking a day to ourselves that everything is going to fall apart. Yet, can you explain to me why it's so important to actually take time
Yeah.
for yourself and when you're
Yeah.
having those down days?
Yeah, because we are all humans. Like that whole hustle culture and the the image that people want to push out there is that they are a machine and they are a robot. We're not machines and we're not robots. We're gonna have emotion. We are emotional creatures. That is just what it is. We have emotions. We have happy, sad, angry. Like, we have all those things, and it's okay for us to feel those things. So if you have a bad day, then take some time to yourself, because I like to think of it as like working out. You work out and you hurt yourself, but you say, no, hustle, I got to keep going, I keep going. You're going to do more damage by not taking that time off to recoup, to let your muscle heal, to let your body heal, then you keep going. And now you made a small injury worse. And guess what? Now you're off for months as opposed to those few days that you're just going to take to recoup. So we have to think about that with it's our body, but also with our mind. Like, I'm having an off day. One, I can even have a contingency plan in place to say, hey, whenever I have a bad day, these are the things I'm going to do. I'm going to take 10 or 15 minutes to go. Well, it's cold here, so it ain't no going to the park and walking around, even though I kind of love walking and jogging outside in the cold. Like, but that's a thing that I clear my mind. So, what are
Right.
the things that you can do when you are having a rough day? Is it going to get a manicure or pedicure? Is it going to get a massage? Or is it getting your favorite book, turning your phone off for 5 or 10 minutes, and just being immersed in that book to just reset yourself? We got to do things that reground ourselves when we're having a bad day. So you can either take the rest of the day off if you can. If not, you give yourself 10, 15, 20 minutes to regroup, reground yourself, and then you get right back to it. But the whole hustle culture, the whole being strong as nails and you just keep going. No, you can't do that. You have to give yourself some time to let your mind adjust and reground itself so you can move forward and go longer and harder.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
So talk about kind of like business expenses and why it's actually important to know this, because I think it's a subject that everyone doesn't really talk about, and especially if you're newer getting into the business too, why you need to be paying attention to this stuff right off the bat, or how to actually create more wealth for yourself inside of your business versus living closing to closing.
Yeah. So the big thing is that we fall in the trap of, and if you're on the real estate side of things, you're a real estate agent, you don't pay taxes when you get your commission. So already you get that commission check, that whole check isn't yours. Take this from somebody who forgot that his deadline for taxes was December 1st. And I'm like, oh crap, I have to pay all of this and tomorrow, right? You want to pay attention to that. And it's called, and Gary Keller talks about this. For you all who doesn't know Gary Keller, he's a part of the KW brokerage, where he talks about paying red light, green light with your money.
Hmm.
You have to look at your money as an investment. When you look at your money as an investment, you want a return on that investment. So you're not just throwing money at every single thing. You do get a commission check. You put some of that money aside for taxes. And then, okay, now this is what's left for me to do what I need to do. For my newer agents, you should not be spending any money on anything until you have hammered your database, social media, every contact in your phone, every contact in your email, like until you have utilized all resources of people you already know, and the people you know, the people they know, you should not be spending any money, because again, you're already behind the eight ball. When you just get licensed, you paying you get your license, that costs money. You join your brokerage, that costs money. Like, you're already in the red, so why are you spending unnecessary money because you trying to not do the work?
Hmm.
So again, paying money is not going to get you out of doing the work. You have to, everything you look at when you're spending any dime, what is going to be my return on that dime that I spend? If you spend a dime and your return is a penny, that's not a good investment, right? So look at everything as an investment and play red light, green light with your money. Like, you have to, you have to be cheap with your money, because in our industry, you can go 1 month of having 6, 7, 8 closings to the next 3 months you don't have anything. So you have to keep that in the back of your mind of being smart with what I'm spending my money on, and utilizing all your free resources before you even think about spending money on leads or things like that.
Well, and what you just said too, like you could have 8 closings 1 month and then 3 months of nothing. I think it's the roller coaster effect, right? And
Yes.
what are some ways that you've seen agents avoid that? Because I see that when they really ramp up production, naturally the first thing to go is making additional connections. So
Yeah.
how do you avoid that pitfall?
So that it comes down to being committed and building those habits of staying structured to your schedule.
Hmm.
Your connection time is something that is a non-negotiable in your schedule. Because here's what's happened. You talked about it. It's that roller coaster. It's the real estate roller coaster. You don't have anything. You're lead generating. You're connecting. You're talking to everybody. Business is doing good. Now you have all these pendants. You stop doing the things that got you the pendants.
Right.
All that stuff closed. Now, guess what? You back here, and now you're back in the position of struggling. So what we want to do is we want to keep that consistent line going. So there's an activity, and I am not going to remember every detail of it, but it's an activity for to realize how many listeners you need to carry
Hmm.
at any given moment to keep you off of that real estate roller coaster.
Yeah.
So if you do the math and it says, "Hey, Savannah, you need to carry 10 listings all the time." You close two of those listings, you got 8. You got to be doing something to get those 2 back. So now you're still carrying those 10. Because what's happened is when you have that number set of how many listings you need to carry, you're going to consistently have closings happening. If one fall apart, well, guess what? You have 9 more right there. So you just need to know that number of how many pendants I need to carry at any given time and how many listings I need to carry at any given time. And you never stop talking to people. You're always filling up your pipeline. It's all about pipeline. You're going to need business next month, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, 12 months from now. So you're constantly filling up that pipeline. So as one person go out, it's like a revolving door. One person closed, they go out. The next person coming in, and now they're in your pipeline, and you're just constantly doing that to stay off of the roller coaster.
Yeah. Love that. What are some systems then when it comes to like the follow up and maybe handling your pendings? Like, where's the system's consistency? I mean, you kind of talked about time blocking or following your schedule, which
Yeah.
time blocking.
Yeah.
Can you kind of touch on that a little bit and any other systems?
Well, for the first thing, and I don't think I can call it a shameless plug because it's not me, but a transaction coordinator. Like that is something that is so vital for an agent in their career because it's somebody that's going to eliminate one is going to eliminate the excuse that agents
Mm,
will have was like, oh well, you know what, I got this deal going on, I got to make sure the paperwork going, so I wasn't able to make my connections, I wasn't able to make my contacts because I got to make sure this deal closed. That's the excuse. Leverage that out. Use your services where I know I'm gonna have somebody that's going to be on top of these key dates while I'm still talking to people, getting stuff in the pipeline, getting business going. So that's one big thing. Utilizing the transaction coordinator service to be able to take care of the stuff because that's not a part of the 5 job descriptions of a real estate agent.
mm.
Doing paperwork, that is not a part of that.
What are the five?
So, the 5 is dialogue and role play, lead generation, lead follow up, go on appointments, and negotiate contracts.
Mm,
Doing doing paperwork, following up with the attorneys if you're in an attorney state, making sure that is scheduled. That is not a part of the 5 job descriptions. Leverage somebody who that is their job, and you're still freed up to do your 5 job descriptions of a real estate agent. And again, you do not deviate from your time block for your lead generation. You are constantly talking to people. It's a contact sport. The more people you talk to, the more business you'll make. So those 2 things, leveraging out the stuff that you're not supposed to do, and then be committed and not missing your lead generation time.
mm. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks. Ah, what else when it comes to like business planning and given that it'll be 2 weeks before the new year hits when this drops, what is something someone could be doing during those 2 weeks, knowing that Christmas and New Year's Eve and all that kind of stuff is happening? What is something that they can be doing to really hit the ground running January 1st?
I am glad you asked that. I have been preaching this everybody I talk to. So
Okay.
these weeks moving up to New Year's and Christmas, this is your time to do. All right, so I'm gonna give people. So get your pens out, people, because I am going to give you a structure of what's going to go on. Okay. So the first step is this is the perfect time to clean up your database. This is the perfect time to touch your database multiple times. We missed Thanksgiving, that's fine. You have Christmas, you have New Year's. You are reaching out to your database, handwritten notes. Listen, handwritten notes, handwritten notes. You are sending handwritten notes to your database. You're going through your database. If there's people in your database that should not be in your database, delete them. Because the only thing that's doing is screwing up your numbers because you can't get a real conversion of what the amount of transactions you should be able to get from your database if you don't have a true accurate account of people in your database that should be in there. So
Hmm.
first part, clean up your database, send handwritten notes to the people in your database. If you don't have full contact information for the people in your database, this is the time to reach out to them. The simplest script. Hey Savannah, this is Jesse Coleman. I am cleaning up my VIP list and I see I only have your phone number and I don't have your email. What's the best email address for you? Or vice versa. If I don't have her phone number, I only have her email, I'm sending that in the email. I need people's full contact information. That way I can touch them the way I'm supposed to touch them for the year. So clean
Hmm.
up your database, get full contact information. The other three parts, we kind of talked about this at the beginning of really get clear about your goal. What is your goal for 2026? Why is that your goal for 2026? What's important to you about that goal? What is the big why for you to hit that number? Then after that, you have to have a real conversation with yourself. And all of this is going up into 2026 to hit the ground running, right? It's what is your commitment level to that goal? James Clear said, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your standards.
Mm.
What is your standards to hit that goal? If
Jesse,
yeah,
that was
if
like a dagger. That's a
absolutely
rough reality check, I feel
no,
like.
it is very rough, but and we all need that because again, if our goal is to run a marathon and we're not working out, we're eating McDonald's, we're not drinking enough water, we're not getting enough sleep, we're gonna fall to our standards.
Right.
That's the same thing with our business. Okay, this is my goal. This is why my goal is important. This is my commitment level to that goal. What is my standards? Do my standards are in alignment with my goal for me able to hit my goal?
Mm.
Okay. Now, the last part that a lot of people skip is everybody think we have 365 days to do work. We don't. There are 52 days in a year. The average agent is only going to work 38 to 42 weeks a year. So that's roughly 190 to 210 days that an agent is going to work. If we just put it in the middle, the average agent is only going to work 200 days next year. That can vary. Kids get sick, you get sick, something may happen. So now that 200 days quickly drop down to 180 days. We have to realize that we don't have the full 365 days that we think we have to hit our goal. So we
Mm.
have to be purposeful about what we're doing. So again, I'm going to go to a thing that Gary Keller says is as you're going into 2026, how many actual working days will you have to work? First thing we always do is we always put our vacation in first. After that, we put in our personal time on our calendar. That's going to give us a true idea of how many days we actually have to work. And I would just say for everybody, as we're going into 2026, do it for the first quarter or even first and second quarter. Pull out your calendar, Put in the times that you're not going to be there. Like I know for me, and the second week of January, I'll be going to a real estate conference in Arizona. The third week of February, it's the second or third week, I'll be going to a real estate conference in Atlanta. So that's 2 weeks in Q1 that I won't be working.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's count in weekends, like Sundays. Let's count in, hey, if my daughter, God forbid she gets sick and can't go to school, that's another day. So when you do the math, you realize, crap, if it's, let's just say 90 days in the first quarter and I only have 25 working days, we got to be on top of what we're supposed to do. So use this time, your goal, get your database together. What is your commitment to your goal? And do the exercise of how many actual working days you have in Q1 and Q2. And when you have that number, you have to commit to doing what you're supposed to do on those working days because you're going to have days where you're not working already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's such a big thing too. I mean, it's amazing. I remember when I first started in the business, it'd be like, oh, it's fine. It's only Q1. We missed the goal like for the quarter by this much. We'll just make it up the next quarter. Then we'll make it up again the next quarter. And then Q4 happens and I'm like, okay, it's too big of a stretch. And now we're lowering the goal, which is honestly lowering our standards, lowering the expectations.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing I realized is like, okay, no, you don't have next quarter to make this up because you don't know what's coming. Last January, I got sick for 10 days. And I mean, I was sick for 10 days. Into February too. It was horrible. I got everything under the sun. And I lost 10 days right there and then left for a conference.
Yeah.
So, what systems also do you have in place that when these things happen, like for me, I lost my voice. I couldn't make phone calls. So I was like, okay, I need to create an email that I can send out or have someone on my team send out. So there's some kind of movement too. Because yes, take days off, but also if you have that much happening, like what is a system you can have in place
To
to
be able
maybe
to do it.
keep little steps forward?
Yeah, so I think that's the big thing there too is having that contingency plan. So like for instance, you lose your voice. Okay, I'll be sending out text messages and emails. I'll be doing handwritten notes. I'll be on social media like crazy, commenting, sending messages, liking things, like doing every other thing besides talking will be my plan. Now, there's going to be a situation where you're sick. It's nothing you get. Like if you're sick where you can't even do that,
Yeah.
you just shut it down. You just
Yeah.
shut it down, right? But there's always a contingency plan of okay, if this were to happen, if I am sick where it's a situation where I can't be out, but I'm still okay. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna make calls. I may sound a little groggy, but I'm gonna make calls. I'm gonna send text messages. I'm gonna do emails. I'm gonna do handwritten notes. I am still going to be able to do these things from the comfort of my bed with my tea, my soup, all those things. Take me a nap when I need to take, but I'm still going to do some type of activities just to keep the momentum going. And it can only be about 20 or 30 minutes of activities.
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes, I am
Yep.
just going to send a bunch of emails. 30 minutes, I'm going to text a bunch of people. 30 minutes, I am going to go through Facebook. I am going to like and comment on everybody's post just to keep the algorithm going. Or I'm going to go on Canva. I'm gonna take me a quote, put it on a nice little pretty picture in Canva, put my logo on there, and I'm gonna post that all on social media and send that in the email to everybody. Like these are things you can constantly do when things happen when you're not able to do the activities that you put forth to do.
Hmm. Awesome.
Yeah.
Which randomly reminded me something and kind of going back towards the beginning a little bit is um people are afraid, I feel like, to reach out and make those connections sometimes because they don't know what to say. They don't know what to send. So what are some things that they could be doing or overcoming that? Because, and I'm sure you'll get to this, I've heard, James Shaw, he's mentioned before, he's like, well, people don't want to hear from you if it's nothing of value. But if
Mhm.
you have something valuable,
then yeah. Well, here's the first part of that. The first part of that, you have to get to the point where you can send something of value to people. So
Right.
the first point is, I haven't talked to Savannah in a while. I need to call, I need to text just to check on Savannah.
Yeah.
Hey Savannah, this is Jesse. I apologize. I know we ain't spoken in a while. I know things could be rough. How are you doing? 9 times out of 10, when you call somebody and ask them how they're doing, they're gonna give you a surface level answer. Oh, everything's okay. The perfect follow-up question is no. How are you really doing? You're gonna get below that surface level. And then you just have a conversation like you having a conversation with somebody you know. Like, I want to
Yeah.
know how you're doing. You're gonna tell me how you're doing. I'm not gonna talk to you about business. So if we haven't spoken in a while, I am not calling you about business. I'm calling to see how you're doing. I'm calling to check on you. I'm calling to check on Mabel. I'm calling to check on how I want to know how things are going. Once we get to that point where I checked in on you, and then right after I checked in on you, I'm gonna send you people. I'm gonna keep talking about handwritten notes because that is a forgotten art
Yes, it is.
that people don't realize go a long way. So after I talked to you and you told me everything that's going on, I'm gonna send you a handwritten note just as a follow up, like, hey, it was so great catching up with you, thinking about you. If there's anything I could do, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
I
Boom.
mean, the only thing you get in the mail anymore is like bills and promo stuff. So to get
And
something that someone took time to do, it's like every time I get in the mail, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so sweet.
majority of the time, people got the paperless bill, so they're not even getting bills in the mail right now. The
That's
bills
true.
coming to the email. So now you're just getting, hey, come get your carpet from here, or hey, the new, like, you're getting stuff like that. So people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You can have so much value to give somebody, but if they don't know you care about them, they don't need that. They don't care about that value.
Mm,
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So once we create that foundation that we truly care about what somebody is going through, they'll be more receptive to the value that we have to provide to them. The value is right now is a lot of explaining or debunking what they're seeing on social media or hearing in the news,
yeah.
because it's so much clickbait on social media that people just want to get clicks. They will post so much BS on there. So any way you can debunk or actually confirm some things, they look at that as something to value. Not, hey, turn your clock back, or turn it forward. Don't forget to change the battery. Like, they don't need you to remind them that. But if you say, hey, this is something that just came up on the news, they said with rates going down, blah, 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 this is your opportunity to say, hey, I just want to do a little bit more clarification of probably what you saw on the news. This is exactly or actually what this means for you. Blah, 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 blah.
I like
So
that.
you're either clarifying or you're debunking something that's all over social media or on the news.
Well, it makes you look like the expert. And that's what people want. They want to be able to trust in you that you can get the process done and you actually know what you're talking about. And that doesn't mean that you have the answer to everything,
Exactly.
but yet being an expert that they have trust in the process with you. Because at the end of the day, this is some of people's biggest investments.
Oh yeah, it is the biggest investment. Somebody purchasing a home is the biggest investment they're ever going to have.
Unless if you're like Jeff Bezos or something with Amazon. But you know.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. That is true.
And that's the only name
But
that came to my mind because my little one yesterday was trying to say something. It sounded like she kept saying Bezos. And I was like, what? And I
but
don't remember
yeah,
what it ended up being. But
that's
yeah,
true. It is the person's biggest purchase, and they want to be able to have confidence and they're comfortable in you that you will put them on the right track. So you need to prove to them that you can do that.
yeah, awesome. Cool.
Yeah,
Well, one question I love to ask towards the end is what is either a favorite podcast, which I know you have your own podcast, so I'd love for you to talk about that also.
yeah.
Um, but a book that you would recommend that everyone reads gearing up into 2026.
So podcasts, yeah, I'm not gonna say mine is my favorite, but I'll just say Breakthrough Blueprint the podcast. That is my podcast. My favorite podcasts are Jocko. He has a few, but so I'll just say Jocko Willick, his podcast. Eric Thomas, E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher, the Secret to Success podcast,
Hmm.
and then also Andy Frisella, who has First Form, who created 75 Hard. He has a podcast, and then I'll just stop there. I am one of those people that I shift through about 10 or 12 different podcasts. Like today, I'll probably listen to two different podcasts. Tomorrow, I'll probably listen to another one. Like I shift through podcasts, so I'm very big on those things. There's three books I would recommend right now. The first one is called "Don't Believe Everything You Think."
Hmm.
That that book right now is giving a very big mental shift for me of like don't believe everything you think. So that one is big. Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. It goes into a lot of the Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and a lot of them. And then the other one, I'll just leave it at that. I can go on and on about books and stuff, so I'll just leave it at those two. Don't believe everything you think, and Discipline is Destiny. Those two books right there.
Awesome. Yay. And is there anything else that you want to like share today? Anything else around getting ready for 2026? What else you got
Yeah,
for us?
yeah. So I said this a little bit earlier, but one thing I want to leave everybody with is that every level you're going to, there's going to be some form of resistance. We
Hmm.
talked about how the universe will reward you, but the universe will also test you to see if you are truly committed to what you say you want to have.
Yes, it will.
Th- yes, things are going to happen. Bad things are going to happen. Some not so bad things are going to happen. Life is going to life. Things is going to happen. Stay committed to it. Life is hard. So why not have a hard life enjoying the things that you have, being around the people you love, as opposed to going through hard, not around the people you love, not having the things you want to have. Things are going to get rough. We just got to stay consistent, stay committed to what we want to do, and everything will be good on the other side of it. Everything will work out. Everything will be good.
Awesome. Yay. Well, thank you so much for being part of this today. I really appreciate you taking the time and just sharing all your knowledge. And make sure you guys follow him on Blueprint Breakthrough. I said that
Yeah.
correctly, right? Okay. Yeah. I'm like,
Breakthrough blueprint. Yeah.
Yes, Blueprint. And it's a fantastic podcast. He brings in fantastic guests as well.
You were a
And
guest.
you're, I was a
You were a
guest. I
guest on it.
was. I
Yeah.
was. Yeah. So make sure you guys follow him on Instagram or Facebook, and make sure you follow us on YouTube.
Yep.
Thank you guys, and we'll see you next month for the next podcast.
Peace.